There's a diner on the corner of 5th and Main, open 24 hours. Coffee's always hot, pie's always fresh. And at midnight, it's where bad plans go to die. Tonight, 2 thieves, a waitress, and a terrible secret walk through those doors. Only one of them walks out. Welcome to the Blue Light Diner, where the coffee is cold and blood runs colder. There's a diner on the corner of 5th and Main, open 24 hours. Coffee's always hot, pie's always fresh. And at midnight, it's where bad plans go to die. Tonight, 2 thieves, a waitress, and a terrible secret walk through those doors. Only one of them walks out. Welcome to the Blue Light Diner, where the coffee is cold and blood runs colder. The Blue Light Diner sat on the corner like a lighthouse in a sea of darkness. Its neon sign, a coffee cup with steam rising in electric blue, buzzed and flickered against the rain-slicked night. Inside, fluorescent lights hummed over red vinyl booths and a checkerboard floor that had seen better decades. The air smelled of burnt coffee, grease, and the particular loneliness that only exists after midnight. Ruby Martinez wiped down the counter for the 100th time that shift, 42 years old, 20 pounds heavier than her prom dress, and 3 years into the overnight shift at a diner that time forgot. Her uniform was clean but faded, her name tag slightly crooked, her eyes, dark and watchful, missed nothing. The clock on the wall read 11:47 p.m. 13 minutes until her life changed forever. The bell above the door chimed. First customer of the hour, Marcus Webb, mid-30s, leather jacket over a cheap suit, hair slicked back with too much gel. He had the look of a man trying to be someone he wasn't, dangerous, confident, in control. But his hands shook slightly as he slid into the corner booth. His eyes darted to the windows, the door, the kitchen entrance. "Coffee," he said when Ruby approached. "Black. And keep it coming." Ruby poured without a word, noting the bulge under his jacket. Left side. Amateur carry. She'd seen enough cops and criminals to know the difference. Marcus wasn't a cop. 3 minutes later, the bell chimed again. Second customer, Vincent Vinny Rossi, 50-something, overweight, breathing heavy from the short walk from his car. Expensive watch, cheap shoes, the mark of a man with champagne tastes and beer money. He surveyed the diner like he was casing it. Because he was. Vinny took the booth across from Marcus. Not together, but not strangers either. Ruby caught the brief nod between them. "Partners, here for a reason. What's the special tonight, sweetheart?" Vinny asked, his smile all teeth and no warmth. "Meatloaf. Comes with mashed potatoes and regret." Vinny's laugh was too loud. "I'll just take coffee. And pie. Apple, if you got it." Ruby returned to the counter, poured another cup, cut a slice of pie. As she served Vinny, the bell chimed a 3rd time. Customer 3 was different. He wore a gray suit that cost more than Ruby made in 6 months. No umbrella despite the rain. His hair and shoulders were dry, suggesting he'd been waiting nearby. He had the kind of face you forgot the moment you looked away. Average height, average build, nothing remarkable except his eyes. Cold, calculating, patient. The man in gray didn't sit in a booth. He took the counter seat directly in front of Ruby, placing a leather briefcase on the stool beside him with careful precision. "Coffee," he said quietly. "And whatever information you're selling." Ruby's hand didn't shake as she poured, but her mind raced. This wasn't part of the plan. The clock struck midnight. The Blue Light Diner's late-night shift had officially begun. Marcus Webb checked his watch for the 5th time in 10 minutes. 12:03 a.m. Right on schedule. The Harbor Bank was 3 blocks east. Closed until 9 a.m. Security guard rotations changed at 12:30. The safe, a vintage Mosseler from 1962, had a design flaw that Vinny swore he could exploit in under 15 minutes. The plan was simple. Meet at the diner. Go over the final details. Hit the bank at 12:45. Be in Mexico by sunrise. Simple plans Marcus knew were the most dangerous kind. Across the diner, Vinny ate his pie slowly, methodically. He'd been planning this job for 6 months. The Harbor Bank wasn't just any bank. It was the bank. The one that had foreclosed on his house 15 years ago. The one that had destroyed his marriage, his credit, his life. Tonight wasn't about money. Tonight was about taking something back. At the counter, the man in gray sipped his coffee and watched Ruby. "You're not surprised I'm here," he said quietly. Ruby refilled his cup without asking. "Should I be?" Most people would be. When someone shows up knowing things they shouldn't. "I don't surprise easy." The man smiled slightly. It didn't reach his eyes. Ruby Martinez. 3 years at this diner. 5 years before that at the Stop and Go on 10th Street. Before that, he paused. Before that, you were someone else entirely. Ruby's grip tightened on the coffee pot. "Who sent you?" "The same people you've been hiding from. The same people who think you died in a car accident in Phoenix 8 years ago." He set down his cup with a soft click. "But you're not dead, are you, Maria?" The name hit Ruby like a bullet. Maria Delgado. Her real name. Her old life. The life she'd burned to ashes along with a fake ID, a stolen car, and a man who deserved worse than death. "I don't know anyone named Maria," Ruby said carefully. "Of course not. Maria's dead. You're Ruby now. Clean slate. New identity. Working the midnight shift at a diner. Keeping your head down. Staying invisible." The man opened his briefcase. Not to threaten, just to show. Inside, photographs, documents, a gun. "What do you want?" Ruby asked. The same thing those two idiots in the corner booths want. Money. Specifically, the money they're about to steal from the Harbor Bank. Ruby glanced at Marcus and Vinny. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do. You called it in. Anonymous tip to the police. 2 men planning a bank robbery, meeting at the Blue Light Diner at midnight." He checked his watch. "Police should be here in approximately 8 minutes. Ruby's mind raced. She had called it in an hour ago, using the pay phone outside. How did this man know? "You've been watching me," she said, "for 3 weeks. Ever since we traced the offshore account your late husband, stole from my employers. $2 million. Missing for 8 years. We thought it died with him. Then we found the transfer. Made 6 hours before his car went off that cliff. Made to an account in your name. Your real name." Ruby set down the coffee pot carefully. "I don't have it. I know. You moved it. Spread it across a dozen accounts. Covered your tracks well, but not well enough." He slid a piece of paper across the counter. "Account numbers, passwords. Transfer everything to this routing number in the next 5 minutes, and you walk away. Maria Delgado stays dead. Ruby Martinez gets to keep her quiet little life. And if I don't," the man gestured subtly toward Marcus and Vinny, "then I tell those two who you really are. Why you're really here. And we see what happens when 3 criminals with different agendas all realize they've been played." Marcus looked at his watch. 12 a.m. Time to move. He caught Vinny's eye. Nodded once. Vinny wiped his mouth. Dropped cash on the table. Exact change, nothing memorable. And stood. Marcus was halfway out of his booth when Ruby's voice cut through. The diner. The bank alarms already tripped. 3 heads turned toward her. "What?" Marcus's voice cracked. Ruby pointed to a police scanner on the shelf behind the counter. Its red light was flashing. Static hissed, then a dispatcher's voice. "All units, silent alarm at Harbor Bank, 5th and Commercial. Responding officers, approach with caution." Vinny's face went white. That's impossible. We haven't. Someone beat you to it, Ruby said calmly. About 20 minutes ago. Actually, looks like you boys aren't the only ones who wanted that bank tonight. Marcus pulled his gun. You called it in. You set us up. Put the gun down, Marcus. The man in gray said quietly, his own weapon now visible on the counter. Everyone here needs to stay very calm. Who the hell are you? Vinny demanded. Someone who knows exactly what's happening here. And who's been trying to prevent a very messy situation. The man kept his gun pointed at Marcus, but his eyes on Ruby. Tell them, Ruby. Or should I say Maria? Ruby sighed. This wasn't how she'd planned it, but plans were made to be broken. My name is Detective Ruby Martinez, Metro Police, Vice Division, undercover for 3 years. She pulled a badge from her apron. And you too, she gestured to Marcus and Vinny, have been under surveillance for 6 months. Marcus's gun hand wavered. This is a setup, not by me. By him. Ruby pointed to the man in gray. Franklin Cole, lawyer for the Delgado cartel. The bank you were planning to rob? It's a front, money laundering operation for the cartel. They wanted you to rob it. Wanted you to trigger the alarm. Wanted police attention on the bank so they could move their real money out the back while everyone was distracted with you too. The pieces clicked into place for Marcus. We were the diversion. You were the sacrifice, Cole corrected. 2 small-time criminals caught robbing a bank. Headlines, arrests, while 50 million in. Cartel money quietly disappeared across the border. He smiled, coldly. It was a good plan. Was? Vinny asked. Was? Ruby confirmed. Because I've been working this case for 3 years. I know where the money is. I know who's moving it. And 20 minutes ago, my team hit their actual transfer location. The bank alarm? That was us. Seizing evidence. Cole's expression didn't change, but his gun hand tightened. Clever, but it doesn't matter. Without me, you have no case. I'm protected. Diplomatic immunity, witness protection connections that go all the way to. The bell above the door chimed. For more people walked in. 3 wore police vests. The 4th wore a suit and badge. FBI. Franklin Cole, the FBI agent said. You're under arrest for money laundering, conspiracy, and about 17 other charges. I'll read you on the way downtown. Cole's gun never moved. He was too smart for that. He simply set it down, placed his hands on the counter, and smiled that dead smile. I want my lawyer. You are the lawyer, Ruby said. That's the best part. Marcus lowered his gun slowly. Vinny sank back into his booth, hands shaking. As police cuffed Cole and read him his rights, Ruby poured herself a cup of coffee. First cup of her shift. She'd earned it. What about us? Marcus asked quietly. Ruby looked at him. Really looked. 20 years ago, she might have been him. Desperate. Stupid. One bad decision away from ruining everything. You didn't rob anything, she said finally. You didn't do anything except sit in a diner and drink bad coffee. She glanced at the FBI agent, who nodded slightly. But if I were you, I'd find a new line of work. The desperate criminal thing? It doesn't suit you. Marcus holstered his gun carefully and walked out without a word. Vinny stayed seated, staring at his empty pie plate. That bank, he said quietly. They took everything from me. My wife, my life. I just wanted. He trailed off. I know, Ruby said. And she did. She'd lost things too. Made choices. Lived with consequences. The bank's going down, the FBI agent said. pulling up a chair. Money laundering, fraud, the whole thing. Everyone who lost something because of their illegal practices, they'll have a chance to file claims, get something back. Vinny looked up. Really? Really? But you have to be alive to file. And if you'd robbed that bank tonight, you'd be dead. Cole's people had a shooter outside. You'd have been killed resisting arrest. Vinny's face went even paler. He nodded once, stood, and walked out into the rain. The FBI agent turned to Ruby. Good work, Martinez. 3 years. Undercover. How's it feel? Ruby looked around the diner. The chipped counter. The burned coffee. The vinyl booths that smelled like 1,000 forgotten conversations. Like I'll miss the pie, she said. The agent laughed. You're done here. Come Monday, you're back. At headquarters. Desk benefits normal hours. How's that sound? Ruby poured him coffee without asking. Sounds boring. Boring's not always bad. No, Ruby agreed. But it's not always good either. The FBI left. The police left. The rain stopped. At 5:47 a.m., just before sunrise, one customer remained in the blue light diner. Ruby Martinez, or whoever she'd been before, whoever she'd be after, stood behind the counter, watching the city wake up through rain-stained windows. The bell chimed. An old man shuffled in. Regular customer. Coffee, wheat toast, 2 eggs over easy. Same order for 6 years. Morning, Ruby, he said. Morning, Mr. Chun. She poured his coffee, took his order, moved through the familiar routine like a dance she'd done 10,000 times. Normal, boring, safe. And for a moment, just a moment, she wondered which version of herself had it right. Maria Delgado, who'd run from her past and lost everything? Or Ruby Martinez, who'd hidden in plain sight and found something resembling peace? Or maybe they were both right, both wrong. Maybe that was the point. The clock on the wall read 6 a.m. Her shift was over. Ruby untied her apron, hung it on the hook in the back, and walked out of the blue light diner for the last time. The neon sign flickered behind her. Open 24 hours. Coffee's always hot. Pie's always fresh. And at midnight, it's where bad plans go to die. But that was last night's story. This morning, Ruby Martinez had somewhere else to be.